We are in the peak of tomato season here in Michigan right now, which is my favorite time of year because I'm harvesting a ton of tomatoes right now every like 2 or 3 days for my garden. This bowl right here is about 12 pounds of tomatoes. And I'm not kidding, I'm harvesting a bowl this big every like 3 days right now. It is getting really crazy, which means I need to start canning. Canning is one of my favorite ways to preserve food. It's a great way to make some delicious recipes out of the produce that you get in your garden, and then you can make them shelf stable through the canning process, so that way they're not taking up any refrigerator space, any freezer space, and you can enjoy them like all fall and winter. When I was planting my garden this year, I specifically planted a ton of paste type tomatoes. So I've got 3 full beds of Roma tomatoes for a total of 24 plants, and then an entire bed of San Marzanos, and I think I have 10 more plants there. So I've got 34 tomato plants just dedicated to paste tomatoes. And I did that because I knew I wanted to preserve a ton of really delicious tomato products this season, like pasta sauce, typical tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, which we're doing today, and maybe dabble into like some hot sauce if there's time. I don't know. But today in particular, I am partnering with the makers of Ball Home Canning, and I'm going to be making their barbecue sauce recipe. Specifically, I'm going to be making the Smokey Sweet BBQ sauce out of the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving. I'm really excited to make this recipe today because last year I made a barbecue sauce and it was good. It wasn't great. I am never disappointed by the recipes in this book. So I will leave a link to the book below. So if you guys want to pick that up and get a ton of great tested, safe canning recipes, you can. But I just know this one's gonna be good and I can't wait to make it, and I can't wait to take you guys along with me because it looks very, very simple. I'm also gonna be using the Easy Canner in this video, which makes water bath canning like a breeze. I used it in a video back in like April or May. I can't remember. I canned up some salsa with it and it just really takes a lot of like the thought out of canning. So I'll be using that too, and I'll make sure to link it in the description, and the entire recipe for this sauce will also be in the description of this video. So let's get right into it. I'm super excited to make this sauce, and I know you guys are going to love it. You're gonna start off by washing your tomatoes under cold running water. Clean them up by removing the core and the blossom end. Cut them into quarters, and then also peel and dice a onion. You're gonna wanna finely chop or dice this onion so it's in really small pieces, and then also peel and mince your garlic. Add your tomatoes, onions, and garlic to a large saucepan, and frequently stir this while you're over a medium-high heat. And you're gonna wanna bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for about 30 minutes. You need to make sure that your tomatoes, your onion, and your garlic are really, really soft. Once about 30 minutes is up and all of those are soft, you're gonna wanna run everything through a food mill. You can use an electric food strainer like I'm using. You can use a hand food mill. You just need something to be able to remove the peels and the seeds from the tomatoes and the garlic and onion. That way you're just left with a nice smooth sauce. Put that sauce back in a saucepan on your stovetop and add brown sugar, salt, ground smoked paprika, garlic powder, ground mustard, chili flakes or crushed red pepper, ground cayenne pepper, and mix that all up until the sugar dissolves. Once the sugar is fully dissolved and mixed in, you can stir in apple cider vinegar and bourbon. Let this whole mixture simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Frequently stir it, that way it doesn't start sticking to the pot, but you're really looking for it to thicken and turn into that really nice texture for barbecue sauce. Once it's that nice texture, you know you're done. It should be about an hour and a half to 2 hours later. I've had my jars preheating in this canner. This is the Ball electric water bath canner. I have a full video on my channel already on how to use this, so I will link that for you guys. This is just, hold on, let me remove this really quick because it's hot. This is just an electric water bath canner, and it makes things really simple. It preheats the jars for you, it processes them for you. It kind of takes a lot of the thought of canning, like totally out of the equation. So I like to use it a lot of the time when I just don't feel like thinking as much, or when I just don't want to have my huge stock pot going. Today, at 7 months pregnant, I just wanted anything that was going to make this process easier, so that's why I'm using it today. But I'm just going to grab each jar out of there, and I'm going to put my funnel on, and I'm just going to start loading this barbecue sauce into each jar. And I did taste test the sauce a couple times. I couldn't help myself. It is so good. It is both smoky and sweet, and I love barbecue sauce. And I feel like all of the sauces at the store just have so much sugar in them and preservatives and like, honestly, just crap, like for lack of a better word, that knowing that this is made with my own homegrown tomatoes and there's no weird ingredients in this at all, and it's just so much better for you, makes me really, really happy. So I'm just gonna fill each of my jars to a 1/2 inch if I can pick up my headspace tool. Let's see, 1/2 inch is here. Oh, I was so close. So close. Just do a little bit more. Pour it back in. Check again, right on the money. Perfect, right at 1/2 inch, and I am going to debubble. It's a liquid, so there shouldn't be any bubbles in here, but better be safe than sorry. And I'm also gonna take this paper towel, it's a little damp on the top, and just clean off the rim, because even though I use a funnel, I do spill a little bit, and you want your rim to be super, super clean. That way you have a good seal. And then I'm taking my new lid and my ring or my band, and I'm just putting it on fingertip tight. So there, it's about fingertip. It's just where your fingers naturally tighten, and then just like a touch more. And then I'm gonna take my tongs and just put it back in to the canner. It's as simple as that. And I'll just keep on going jar by jar, doing that same thing. All of the jars are filled and in the canner, and I've got about 1 inch of water covering them. So I'm gonna put the top on, and then on my easy canner, I just move to the next step, and it's the same process. So I need to put in the time that these need. Pint jars take 20 minutes, so I'm just going to put in 20 minutes, hit next, and then it'll process. And then once these are done processing in the canner, I'm going to just pull them out, put them on my countertop on a towel where they will sit for about 12 to 24 hours. I'm just gonna have them go overnight. And then in the morning, as long as they have a good seal, I will remove the bands, give the jars a good wash, and then I will store them because they'll be shelf stable. And that's it. That is the full recipe and how to can this Smokey Sweet barbecue sauce from the makers of Ball Home Canning. I am super excited about this recipe because it tastes so good, and it's also really easy, especially for like a canning recipe. I will leave all of the canning supplies I use in the description of this video, along with an entire step-by-step process, written instructions and recipe for the barbecue sauce. So if you want to try it, it'll all be right there. And of course, I will have linked the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving 38th edition, where this recipe came from. And that's where a ton of recipes are from that I use to can up my entire garden. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more gardening and canning content. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.